Johnny Depp is dumping Disney. He's over at Disney. He says he's not going to make another pirate film with this mega corporation.
There was an in-depth piece, like a behind-the-scenes piece, talking about how they've been in a full meltdown about this girl for a couple of years now.
Give Johnny this. They asked Johnny the question in court. Here's what Johnny had to say. Go ahead, Rob.
Mr. Depp, if Disney came to you with $300 million and a million alpacas, nothing on this earth would get you to go back and work with Disney on a Pirates of the Caribbean film. Correct?
That is true, Mr. Rottenborn.
That said, our primary purpose is to entertain, and where we can entertain responsibly, obviously we try to do that. We try to have a positive impact on the world, but the first thing we need to do is entertain.
Johnny Depp flatly refused to consider a major film role after learning Rachel Zegler was attached to the project. This shocking claim spread like wildfire across social media, with fans immediately taking sides in what appeared to be Hollywood's latest explosive feud. But the twisted truth behind this story reveals something far more complex about both stars' relationships with major studios.
Because of what they did to him during the Amber Heard allegations.
And the fate of Disney's troubled Snow White remake. What if Disney's executives approached Johnny Depp tomorrow, handed him a $500 million contract, and begged him to return as Captain Jack Sparrow?
Mr. Depp, if Disney came to you with $300 million and a million alpacas, nothing on this earth would get you to go back and work with Disney on a Pirates of the Caribbean film. Correct?
That is true, Mr. Rottenborn.
Industry analysts suggest such a move could potentially boost the company's plummeting stock valuation overnight, yet the bitter reality remains. Some bridges once burned can never be rebuilt. Meanwhile, Disney's Snow White reboot starring Rachel Zegler now faces serious trouble after becoming one of the most divisive productions in recent memory. What started as a dream project with a staggering $300 million budget has crashed into a wall of controversy that might have permanently damaged not just the film, but Disney's entire live-action remake strategy. Rachel Zegler landed what should have been a career-defining role as the iconic princess. Instead, it quickly spiraled into a PR nightmare that has fans across social media platforms demanding her removal from the project. The controversy exploded when Zegler made comments that many interpreted as dismissive of the beloved 1937 animated classic. She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love, Zegler stated in promotional interviews. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be. Snow White is definitely made for the modern age.
Retard.
Okay.
It's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White.
That laugh.
That is
not going to be saved by
You
the
wrote
prince.
it?
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can.
These statements immediately raised red flags for longtime fans who felt the actress was missing the essence of the fairy tale that generations had fallen in love with. One popular YouTuber with millions of subscribers commented, "This isn't about being progressive or traditional. It's about understanding why certain stories resonate with people in the first place. When you fundamentally change what made a character beloved, you're not updating the story. You're creating something entirely different that just happens to share the same name."
Saying that her version of Snow White, well, the princess will not be saved by the prince. It's no longer 1937, idiots.
But Zegler's controversial comments were just the beginning of the troubles plaguing this production. Behind the scenes, the Snow White remake reportedly descended into chaos with multiple reshoot cycles driving the budget to astronomical heights. Industry insiders with connections to the production whispered about significant tensions on set, with sources claiming Zegler had conflicts with production team members that substantially disrupted the shooting schedule. Creative differences is often Hollywood code for serious problems, and in this case, the euphemism appears to mask genuine concerns about the film's direction. Test screenings apparently revealed deeply divided audience reactions, with many viewers expressing frustration about the dramatic departures from the story elements that made the original a timeless classic.
So yeah,
my agent would have punched me in the face if I was up there saying some stupid what an investment.
Okay, it's great. I'm honored. I don't know why I sound so angry right now. I'm honored. Am I a psychopath?
It just takes a beloved movie and makes it much more boring and much less realistic, one viewer reportedly said after attending an early screening. Costume and set design choices also reportedly raised eyebrows, with some test audience members questioning whether the production was trying too hard to distance itself from the animated version, while losing the visual magic that made the original so enchanting. The Seven Dwarfs, a centerpiece of the classic tale, have apparently been reimagined in ways that test audiences found jarring and disconnected from the source material. All this controversy comes at the worst possible time for Disney, whose stock valuation has plummeted from $328 billion to approximately $170 billion, representing a staggering $160 billion loss. Financial analysts point to numerous factors contributing to this decline, including streaming service challenges, theme park issues, and most relevantly, diminishing returns on high-budget productions, particularly remakes that fail to capture the magic of their predecessors.
She is crapping on the original production. I was scared of it. Oh, it was so weird. It was a stalker. Like, I feel like if you are taking on the most iconic Disney role ever, genuinely, like this was the most prolific Disney film, I feel like you should kind of have some sort of reverence.
The Snow White controversy has become a symbol of the studio's broader struggles with its live-action remake strategy. After initial successes with films like The Jungle Book and Beauty and the Beast, recent attempts to reimagine classic animations have faced increasing scrutiny and diminishing returns. Critics suggest Disney has reached a point where the studio must carefully reconsider its approach to these beloved properties. Adding fuel to the fire, those rumors about Johnny Depp refusing to work alongside Zegler went viral on social media.
Films, and I imagine that with all of the stuff that they're remaking and redoing, that Pirates of the Caribbean would be on that docket.
With fans immediately taking sides in what appeared to be another celebrity clash. The story seemed plausible given both actors' complicated histories with Disney and the current charged atmosphere in Hollywood regarding remake culture, but here's where things take an unexpected turn.
Maybe they should bring Johnny Depp back. Hey, Bob, you've lost so much money the last couple years. The valuation went from $328 billion to $170 billion. You've lost $160 billion of valuation.
This alleged feud between Depp and Zegler appears to be completely fabricated. No credible evidence exists that the two actors were ever considered for the same project, let alone that Depp rejected work because of Zegler's involvement.
Guess what? Go pay Johnny Depp. Pay him $500 million. Beg him to come back. Beg him to come back. Drop the press release, okay? This guy's going to be worth this $500 million will take Disney from $170 to $220 billion.
So, representatives close to Depp have consistently denied any connection between the actor's career decisions and Zegler's casting in any production. What is true, however, is Depp's severely damaged relationship with Disney specifically. When the studio abruptly severed ties with Depp during his legal troubles with ex-wife Amber Heard before any court verdict was reached, the actor felt deeply betrayed by executives who had profited enormously from his creative contributions over decades.
Press conference. He's standing next to Johnny Depp, and they announce $500 million, no DEI, no LGBTQ. We're going back to old school Pirates of the Caribbean. What would happen to the Disney stock the next day, Tom?
Particularly from the $4.5 billion Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, that his portrayal of Captain Jack Sparrow had turned into a global phenomenon. During court proceedings that captivated global attention, Depp testified under oath that he would never return to the Pirates franchise even if offered $300 million and $1 million alpacas. When asked directly if anything could persuade him to work with Disney again on another Pirates film, his response was unequivocal.
Do it without the greatest character that people watch the series for.
I got a job to do. I got a job to do.
But that is true, Mr. Rottenborn. His stance hasn't softened since winning aspects of his legal battle against Heard.
Johnny Depp says that because they had virtually exiled him, that he's not going to go back for the money.
Some things can't be fixed with money, he reportedly told close associates, suggesting the wounds were about principle rather than compensation. This sentiment has resonated with many fans who feel Depp was unfairly treated by a studio that was quick to distance itself from him during controversy, but had built billions in revenue on his talent and charisma. These fans have organized boycotts of Disney productions and regularly call for the studio to publicly apologize to the actor, something that industry insiders suggest is extremely unlikely to happen. Meanwhile, Rachel Zegler's Snow White situation represents a different kind of Hollywood challenge. At just 23 years old, the actress rose to prominence with her role in Steven Spielberg's West Side Story remake, where her performance as Maria received significant critical acclaim. Landing the Snow White role should have been a triumphant next step, not a controversial liability. Some industry observers suggest Zegler has been unfairly positioned as the face of controversial creative decisions that ultimately came from higher-level executives and producers. When actors promote these films, they're often reciting talking points provided by the studio's marketing department, explained one entertainment journalist who requested anonymity. They become the lightning rod for criticism about decisions they had little control over. Nevertheless, Zegler's comments struck many fans as dismissive of the original Snow White's legacy. In an era where social media can amplify controversies instantaneously, these statements created a perception problem that has proven difficult to overcome. Disney has reportedly attempted multiple damage control strategies, including limited public appearances and carefully scripted interviews. But the initial negative impression has continued to haunt the production. Industry analysts point out that both Depp and Zegler represent different sides of Hollywood's current identity crisis. Depp symbolizes an old-school star system where actors' personal brands and creative instincts drove franchise decisions. Zegler represents a new generation of performers navigating social media pressures and evolving expectations about how classic stories should be updated for modern audiences without alienating longtime fans.
For which movie?
The Snow White controversy highlights the tension that exists between honoring beloved film history and pushing boundaries to remain culturally relevant. Disney now faces a difficult decision: proceed with a controversial production that has alienated much of its target audience, or make dramatic changes that might include significant reshoots or even recasting. Both extremely expensive options for an already budget-bloated production. Some industry experts suggest Disney should learn from this misstep by focusing on what made their classics beloved in the first place. When you're dealing with stories that generations have emotional connections to, you need to honor that history while still finding ways to evolve, one unnamed studio executive commented. The most successful reimaginings understand the emotional core of the original and build upon it rather than dismantling it entirely. The production's uncertain fate has become a lightning rod in broader cultural conversations about adaptation versus reinvention. Social media platforms have seen heated debates about whether classic fairy tales should be updated to reflect contemporary values or preserved in their original form. Both sides present valid arguments, but the commercial reality is that studios must balance artistic expression with audience expectations when investing hundreds of millions in beloved properties. As for Zegler herself, she faces the challenge of overcoming this controversy while establishing herself as a serious actress beyond remakes. Despite the backlash, some defenders point out that she's been placed in an impossible position, becoming the face of creative decisions that were ultimately made at the executive level long before she joined the project. The fabricated connection between Depp and Zegler reveals something troubling about today's media ecosystem. How false narratives spread rapidly because they make compelling stories, regardless of factual basis. Fans hungry for drama eagerly consume and share these manufactured conflicts, sometimes causing real damage to professional relationships and public perceptions before the truth emerges. The next time you see headlines suggesting dramatic conflicts between celebrities or controversial production decisions, remember this story. The shocking truth is that in Hollywood, public perception often matters more than talent or truth, and sometimes the most viral stories are the ones with the least substance behind them. And as for Johnny Depp and Rachel Zegler, they remain two actors navigating very different stages of their careers, connected not by any real-world feud, but by the challenges of an industry in transition.